In Call TV, I remain Chigozendi, but the host anchor, bringing you live and direct, unbiased reportage of events within our nation or Nigerian state and across the African nation this morning. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. Yes, I don't blame TINUBU, of course, over Nigerian misfortunes and wars, agonies, because it is just a very long process that led Nigeria to where Nigeria is today. We shall be discussing these fundamental issues, the foundation of Nigeria and the supposed heroes of the past and their labors, and what led to what, of course, we are experiencing here today within the Nigerian social, political, and economic sphere. It has never been, of course, the same ever since the inception of the Nigerian state. Why we say don't blame TINUBU for Nigerian misfortune? Why? Because it is just a progressive decline, of course, of the system, which unfortunately he took advantage of the flawed system, of course, to his own advantage. If Nigeria has been working, if Nigeria was a system that could be trusted, of course, most of what we are seeing today wouldn't even have the chances of being in the first place. So Nigeria is just a state where anybody can exploit, of course, to his or her advantage, provided you have the connections, have the power, or you are in control of the economic system within the Nigeria. We shall be looking at the primary drive objectives that led to the independence of the Nigerian state. What drive the supposed heroes of the past to begin to demand and agitate for the independence of Nigeria, self-determination from the colonial or British colonial masters. One of the major reasons, of course, stand at the quest for self-independence, for resource control, and ensure that there is adequate education for her populations, and be able to manage her own resources and the advantage of all and sundry, and also to promote cultural identity within the Nigerian state. These are the major issues that formed the drive or quest for the independence of Nigeria by the supposed heroes of the past. But along the line, we can see that most of these, if not all, of these objectives that was set, of course, before the independence of Nigeria, have been defeated. To be fair, of course, in my submission, all of this has been defeated. There have not been, of course, inclusiveness. Most people have been, most cultural identities or nationalities are being sidelined or came out of events which does not support the first motive for calling for self-independence. And unfortunately, has Nigeria attained that level of independence at this now? Yes, TINUBU is the substantive president based on the recent declaration by INEC and, of course, supported by the Court of Tribunal, though it remains a subject of controversy litigation, pending on the outcome of final pronouncement by the Supreme Court that will either validate, of course, or annul as such a declaration, has been contested by Labour Party and the PDP candidates at the Supreme Court. But pending, of course, unforeseen circumstances, TINUBU remains the substitute president of Nigeria. Despite, of course, most of the enchantments here and there, burden on his qualification, uh, validity, and of course acceptance, most especially as the U.S. courts have given an express order to the legal counsel to release every document with burden on Tinubu's education as far as Chicago State University is concerned. Well, we await the outcome of such, and whatever happens, we shall continue to update the masses and also analyze and share our own opinion based on the current realities. Don't blame Tinubu for Nigerian woes. Nigerian problem has been as old as Nigeria, and unfortunately, keep worsening, keep, of course, sinking abysmally. If that is not the case, we wouldn't have experience in what we are experiencing today, almost at the state collapse. Yes, I welcome you, Mr. Chinedu, for your wonderful submission while we deliberate on this topical issues today. Good morning. It's a pleasure welcoming you, esteemed comrades.
Good morning.
Yes, our subject of discussion today is that we want to focus, of course, on the existence of Nigeria. So we may not want to start blaming Tinubu for the misfortunes and the woes of the Nigerian state, because it transcends, of course, this period where Tinubu happens to be the president, the 16th president of the Federal Republic, ever since independence. But we are to discuss and look what was the drive, the passion that led to the pursuit for self-determination or independence of the Nigerian state from the British colonial masters.
Nigeria, a lot of people do not believe in Nigeria. I said it yesterday, and I'm repeating it. Nigeria needs to be investigated. Why Nigeria is not moving forward? They need to really sit down and know why Nigeria at 63, nothing is working. Nothing is working in Nigeria. The only thing that's working in Nigeria is looting. That's the only thing that's working in Nigeria. Looting, that's the only sector among all the sectors in Nigeria that is working. The looting sector is working. And until these leaders understand this thing very well, Nigeria will continue to crawl, even at 100.
By looting sector, is corruption supposed to be an integral aspect of the Nigerian system in the first instance?
Of course, there is no place that there is no corruption. All over the world there is corruption. Even in America there is corruption. Everywhere in the world there is corruption. But at what rate is corruption thriving in those parts of the world? At what rate? That's the question you need to ask yourself. At what rate? In fact, it is very low. The leaders, some of those leaders who see there that in those countries that things are working, most of them are selfless. They believe in selfless service. But Nigeria, who is supposed to be a kind of role model to other black nations in Africa, have continued to show in all aspects that they are not worth to even bear that tag, the most populous black nation in the world.
According to the founding fathers, of course, who fought for independence, they wanted to attain self-independence or self-determination, where they can control their own resources and develop, of course, the human capital within their system, and also ensure there is liberality in cultural identity. You see, and to take advantage of the cultural diversity at the expense of the masses. Has that been achieved?
It has not been achieved. You know, they say there is unity in diversity. But in Nigeria, it is the opposite. It is a clear thing. Go and check everywhere in Nigeria, from local government to state government to senators to house members to the presidency down to the ministers. What do you experience is selfishness. Then when you look at them, you know that these guys are not leaders. They are only audio leaders. They are not leaders. When you come closer to a leader, when you choose a leader, when you unveil a leader, when you vote a leader, definitely there's no two ways about it. You must experience the benefits, the touch. You must experience that what is expected from a leader as a follower. So what you have, Nigeria has never experienced leadership, and Nigeria has continued to pray and look and search for a leader who will step into Nigeria as a president, and things will work. But let me give you an instance. Look at somebody like, let me use this example, like JJ Okocha, a very good player, a midfielder. Do you know that if JJ Okocha comes around this environment now and said, I want people to do this for so reason, do you know that people will come out? You don't need to push people around to do the normal thing. People have already seen integrity in you. All they need is just to follow, to do the needful at their respective positions, and things will work. But when you cannot to see an armed robber, a drug baron, a criminal, so a looter, a corrupt leader, a corrupt professional, assuming the position of political position, what do people? Of course, he's going to go there with all people who are also part of his things he does. He's going to go there with corrupt people too, because the same people that he's doing business with, he will carry along at the end of the day, and we will continue to experience bad leadership. That is why when Nigerians are looking for a way to voting to dismantle this cartel that have rendered Nigeria useless at 63.
It seems there is a sharp deviation from the main objective or drive that led to the independence of Nigeria. One of them is to attain, of course, a quality education for the masses of this country, which unfortunately has been defeated. As it stands now, according to the last report, that over 20 million Nigerian students are out of school, will not even access that. Then what really happens to the education system and the cultural identity? You see exclusiveness in the issue of governance, appointments, and all that. It seems they left the objective and start pursuing the selfish advertisement and quest.
Well, I think the issue of education is very, very important. There's no nation that survives
without educating her.
Yes, yes, you understand. Education is very, very important. I'm of the opinion that at primary school level should be made free for everybody in Nigeria, so that they can accommodate as many as, even for those who cannot afford to go to school. Let them make primary. All this money they are looting is enough to sponsor Nigerian citizens to school. Even at primary level, from primary 1 to primary 6, let it be free education, so that people can actually go to then they will find a way also to reduce to subsidize education money fee people pay for to go and acquire knowledge. It's too expensive even in the private and public schools universities. And what Nigerians are then create a better atmosphere too.
Was education supposed to be the rights of any child within Nigeria?
Of course, that's what it should be. That's what it should be. But let me tell you, since they have made it a money spinning industry, so to say, they should also they should look inwards and see how at least every Nigerian child to be able to have free primary school education. Then at university level, somebody people can easily send their children to university with little or no money, whereby government is actually coming in to subsidize education, so that people can actually go to school. So I'm of the opinion that they should look inward at least from primary 1 to primary 6 for every Nigerian citizen child to have access to education free of charge. By so doing, we're able to accommodate a lot of children who are on the street selling groundnut, selling pure water, who cannot afford to go to school or whose parents cannot afford to send them to school. So by so doing, that opportunity will accommodate millions of them.
These are one of the objectives set out by the heroes of the past. But today, their labor seems to be in vain because they intended to create quality education for the Nigerian masses. But today, it is a total failure. And we come to the cultural identity. Has such been promoted and protected within Nigeria, where you see the winner takes it all, where you see a sitting president will say that a particular race is just a dot in a cycle, an abuse of power and an insult to the ethnic nationalities. Has the coexistence of Nigerian ethnic nationalities been promoted by the same governments within this country?
Successive government, of course, there has always this been a certain tribe has been singled out for to be have been singled out and sidelined in the course of Nigerian project. It has happened. It has been there over the years. You understand? And this particular region or tribe or race in this part of they are the people who fought for the independence of this country. And up till now, the Nigerians have not come to sit down and said, okay, this is what to do. Nigeria belongs to everybody. Let everybody be a stakeholder in the Nigerian project. But it's not happening like that, because some people use force to get to power, and they feel that they can have it forever. That is how it was in this part of the world, and it does not show sign of unity in that regard. And apart from that, Nigeria is also missing out constitutionally. We need to sit down and write our own people-oriented constitution. Not all this amendment. Nigeria is still operating with a foreign constitution. That is, most of the things there are alien to the people. So another point that the cultural identity, cohesion, and unity about the Nigerian state, which was one of the reasons, a primary objective of calling or seeking for independence, has also been defeated, because at 63 Nigeria has not even realized her feet on the path of nationhood. Now the next one is to harness the resource control. Had there been that resource control by the regions? You see where Zamfara states say that Zamfara gold belongs to Zamfara.
while the goods, the crude oil from the east, belongs to Nigeria. So have that, of course, particular objective been fulfilled today?
That's why I'm telling you that a lot of things need to be restructured constitutionally and otherwise. A lot. There's so many things that need to be put in place, to checkmate this lopsidedness that we're experiencing. This slavery that most Nigerians has gone into, or most region has gone into, because they are simply part of Nigeria. Like you just talked about now, the issue of resource control. We know what is happening in the Niger Delta. We know what is happening in the east. We know what is happening in the north. We know what is happening in the west. All over Nigeria, there has always been this cry of exploitation
For years, not just within the TINUBU's 3 months administration.
Yeah, yes, and it is an issue that has not been properly addressed. And until it is well addressed, that is when we begin to see the required changes. The forces that has refused to do the needful in this regard has kept Nigeria in the dark over the years. Let me tell you, I listened to Gani Adams some time ago when the issue of restructuring came up. And the question is, some of the questions some of the Northerners were asking, or Southerners, or people who claimed that they don't know what restructuring is all about. That after all, Nigeria has been going through restructuring at every point in time. That the sixth geopolitical zone is also part of the restructuring process. The federal character is also part of. They were just mentioning a lot of things, but that is not the type of restructuring we are talking about in this regard. What we are talking about is, let Nigeria be a federating unit where states, local governments control whatever they have and give a kind of percentage to let us decentralize this system that has brought penury and hunger for over 63 years of Nigeria as a nation. So let me just explain this very clearly to you. Restructuring should be, if Nigeria is ready to move forward, the type of restructuring a lot of people, including me, is advocating, where a local government chairman or a particular local government will own a certain resources, or will develop a certain resources that takes care of his own local government in terms of
the people,
yes, and in terms of electricity, in terms of agriculture, in terms of socio-economic activities, based on the strength they have. It's very possible. Let me give you for instance now. In this local government now, assuming that this local government has a mighty farm in Sambisa Forest, strictly for people in this local government, you know what it's like. They have rice, they have beans, they have yam, they have everything.
They're so intentional about that.
Yes.
Imagine a local government that has no single tractor. Then they don't have any prospects.
No single tractor, no single farmland. Then and they're collecting all this money and it goes into the private pocket. So Nigeria is a dead nation. Completely dead. Nigeria is just wasting their time. See, Nigeria is a waste. Nigeria is a nation, is a waste. And by the time you continue to see this thing, people who want to move forward should be allowed to move forward.
Okay.
People who believe that Nigeria is dragging them backward should be allowed to move forward.
Okay.
You understand? People who want to break away from this corrupt system called Nigeria
Should be allowed
to go. Because I don't understand why a local government chairman cannot have, okay, go there. Go there now. He has supervisor for agriculture.
But they don't have tractor. They don't have farm.
Go there. You see supervisor for agriculture. You see supervisor for this. You see supervisor for covet. Supervisor for road. Supervisor for water. Supervisor, all these things. They are not activating anything in that regard. So then, then what gives you the impression that Nigeria is going to work? Nigeria is just a gang of a nation, pioneered by looters. Nigeria is completely in the dark. Nigeria as a nation is in darkness, and the people who have kept Nigeria in darkness are the people who are looting, who does not want Nigeria to work, but they come out public and say, national unity, the unity in diversity. We are fighting corruption. We want to borrow money. We want to do this. At the end of
Nigeria unity is non-negotiable.
don't mind them.
Under false rules,
Under pretense,
under deception, wickedness.
a local government that is working, that is feeding its own local population. Tell me in Nigeria. Tell me one local government in Nigeria that is go and check. Some of these local government have crude oil. Some of them have bitumen. Some of them have a place they can go and do agriculture.
Massive land lying for.
Most of them can build. Local government can mount one of the largest factories in that place and employ people. Now they produce what they take care of. That take care of that locality, so to say. You understand what I'm saying? That is the type of restructuring I am talking about. That is the type of practical restructuring of the Nigerian system that people like me are advocating for. Where a state governor or a state government will able to have up to 5 different money spinning ventures that generate income for the state
And keep the masses within those localities very busy. The team populations of
livelihood, not necessarily working on the federal government. That's the type of restructuring. I want a regional restructuring with states. The state is working, the local government is working. That's the type of restructuring I'm advocating for.
So we have been able to establish again that one of the major objectives for driving for independence is resource control. That Nigeria want to control their own resources and develop. It appears that the British were exploiting the country, but unfortunately, we have become more worse than ever imagined. That even Nigeria could not feed her teeming populations. That over 133 million Nigerians as of 2022 was satisfied to be multidimensionally poor. A population over 60 to 70 population. Percentage of the population are wallowing in abject poverty. So that objective of resource control has also been defeated. That is quite unfortunate. Now, seeing that almost virtually all the objectives or reason for calling for independence has been totally defeated as it stands now at 63, what could be the way forward?
The way forward is a national constitution, a sovereign national conference. Let them look at what 2014 confab and reactivate it. Let us even start from there first. 2014 confab, that document is still really relevant, and it takes care of a lot of titular issues that has kept Nigeria backward for years. Let them look at it. Then white Nigerians, want to see all the ethnic lords in Nigeria, all the social cultural groups, all the state lords, all the local government lords, personalities, civil society organization calling for a thorough referendum for people-oriented constitution. Let us start from there first and see what will happen.
And you believe that this government has the political will?
No, this government is
and the conscience,
for me,
of course, to drive that.
For me, as it stands now, Tinubu's government is illegitimate. Tinubu's mandate government whatever they call it, as I was talking to you now, is illegitimate until the court proves otherwise.
Otherwise, by court you mean the Supreme Court?
Of course, that is how it's supposed to be. And there are signs of this government that millions of Nigerians are no longer comfortable with. Even the Yorubas. This is not about, it's not about ethnicity. It's not about I'm Yoruba, I'm Hausa, I'm Igbo. No, we are talking about Nigeria is capsizing. Nigeria is collapsing under TINUBU. Nigeria is sinking under this man's administration in less than 3-4 months of his administration.
So we can blame TINUBU for the antecedent within the 3 months.
He has no business to be president. TINUBU has no business to be there because he has no idea. He lacks wisdom. He lacks his technical know-how, the knowledge to navigate. I use the word navigate Nigeria to a foundation that will take genuine development, that will take genuine leadership, that will take genuine patriotism, that will take genuine and collective interest of the citizens to build a better Nigeria.
But okay, you mean if he can have such he lacks the capacity?
Currently, it has shown that, see, it's not a matter of jumping and becoming president or bribing your way to becoming president where you are not patriotic.
Well, thank you so much, Team Conrad, for a wonderful submission. This is very hot this morning. We really appreciate you, honestly. It's been a wonderful time. And there have been so many, of course, discrepancies over these very fundamental issues. Good morning, Owen Pilots, for your comment, for joining in this morning. Good morning, Mr. Andrew. Good morning, Uche Jene. Good morning, good morning. Everyone joining us here. The discussion is becoming more heated up and interesting, honestly. And based on the submission of the last analyst here, that TINUBU lacks the capacity to drive a viable nation and to bring and restore Nigeria on the path of progress and development. Well, such argument was very, very, very hot. And in the light of the realities unfolding this moment, we, of course, agree with such submissions. Of course, we may not want to blame TINUBU on the past decades, but may blame him, of course, for what is happening within his own dispensation. Nigerians expected much from him to have charted a way forward and build that trust across ethnic nationalities. But it seems he's still taking the path of error, the path of retrogression, the path of exclusion in his government. People have accused him of nepotism, have accused him of several abuse of opportunities and power. Well, let's know what is your own stake. Are you a Nigerian living in diaspora? What do you think would have been done right to get Nigeria on the path of progress? Or do you still have confidence that Nigeria possibly could be redeemed in the midst of this multi-plural, of course, crisis that is rocking the Nigerian state? As he said, that Nigeria is capsizing, almost at the verge of total collapse. Economic-wise, of course, we are nowhere. The objectives for calling for independence by the heroes of the past seems to be totally defeated at 63, because one of the major objectives is to attain self-independence where they can manage their resources and control their borders. But unfortunately, the Nigerian nation has suffered so many casualties of her supposed citizens by invaders, where you have more than 1,000 unmanned, of course, and porous borders across the Nigerian, of course, territory. which have resulted to millions of lives lost ever since independence of this country. And to make it worse, of course, things are getting more aggravated rather than providing solutions to the millions of problems bedeviling us as a people. It appears day by day Nigeria is sinking more abysmally, unable to feed herself, unable to get out of this quagmire, unable to lift herself out of this merry clay. Is why we found ourselves where we are today. It is quite unfortunate, and one of the objectives again is to ensure that our population attend quality education. But the reverse is the case today. More than 20 to 25 million of the children, Nigerian children, are out of school. And more, of course, will be dropping out because of the increment in the cost of tuition fees. And these have not, of course, paid off, honestly. And despite unfortunate, parents are finding it difficult to pay for their tuition fee of their children's and wards. It is quite unfortunate, honestly, as if there seems to be no hope. Some are calling for TINUBU's resignation, since according to their opinion, he lost the capacity and the drive, of course, to chart a way forward. Well, let's hear from you, comrades. Good morning. It's a pleasure having you this morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Yes, sorry, let's face the... Yes, we are discussing, don't blame TINUBU for the misfortunes of Nigeria, because there are objectives set by the heroes of the past or the founding fathers to before independence, to drive for the quest for independence. But unfortunately, Nigeria attains self-determination, but that freedom seems to be a mirage, because we are not free, independent, cannot feed ourselves, cannot protect ourselves. People are dying within the Nigerian territory, and things are getting worse, contrary to the anticipated, of course, objective for calling for independence from the British colonial masters.
Well, no nation becomes super fantastic in its first day of independence. It's a work in progress.
Nigeria is 63 today.
Yeah, I'm aware. It's a work in progress. Even as humans, we learn every day. For example, when I woke up this morning, I learned a lesson. You understand? Whether the lesson was good, bad, or ugly, but I picked up a lesson, a useful lesson this morning. You understand? So also is the life of a nation. You understand? Perhaps maybe not the right language to have used that people should not think her husband is a magician. However, one thing is sure, the whole box stops on his table. So he has to manufacture that magic. Nigerians expect that magic from him.
Wow.
Because he came into the public view and said he wanted to be president. So if you want to be president, you just have to live the talk. You have to walk the talk, you have to live the talk. It goes beyond the rhetorics. So we expect, your children, they come to you, they say, mommy and daddy, they are hungry. They don't care whether mommy and daddy are broke. Because first and foremost, they didn't tell you they wanted to come into the world. It was mommy and daddy that decided to come in to bring them into the world. So the children expect you to do magic. So it's the same thing with Nigerians. That's my honest disposition.
Then, in as much as we may not want to blame TINUBU for the past rottenness, of course, which has spanned over 60 years. Now, the major objective of setting for independence is to attain self-determination, resource control for the common good of all as sundry. But do you think that resource control has helped Nigeria? Could it be a blessing or a cause as is at 63?
No, it depends on which side of the divide you're coming from. Some persons will tell you it's a cause. Some persons will tell you it's a blessing. But it depends on what you want to see within the prison glass. But for me, I think Nigeria is a blessed nation. I think Nigeria is too blessed to be poor. I think, yeah, there are problems.
Too blessed to be poor.
Yes, there are problems. I agree. In all honesty, I agree. But I also believe that there are solutions to Nigeria's problems. I'm not one of those who believe that Nigeria's problem is so much that we cannot find a lasting solution to it. I think what we have are leaders who do not have that wherewithal, that zeal to follow up on their promises. That okay, this is what we want to do for the people, and follow it to the latter. I think that's the problem we are going through.
Do we continue to depend on the promises of the political elites? You know that sometimes they only just want to pave their way to the corridor of power and they forget everyone. Shouldn't we have a system, a welcoming system, a vision for the nation, where so that when there is a deviation from that, we can call them to order that rather than holding on to their fallible promises, deceptive promises.
For me, the only way that I know to hold leaders accountable is for the electorate to wait for them after 4 years, vote them out for poor performance. That's the best way. Every other thing is secondary.
Even when they failed to deliver on dividends of,
you wait for them at the elections.
is that the only option to keep on recycling the mediocres, keep on recycling those who has no reason to be within the government or within governance?
I do not know of any other way. If there are other ways, you tell me. You tell me. I'll be very happy to learn. I do not know of other ways.
Okay, what I'm saying in essence that should the masses of this country be at the expense of the dictates of an average politician? If you should rely on just waiting for 4 years to vote them out, it means we are just giving them more opportunities to destroy us as a people.
I don't know of any other way.
Okay, apart from that, in terms of education, educating the population of the Nigerian state, you said Nigeria has no reason, is too blessed to become poor based on the natural resources, endowment, and the human population. So why is it that Nigeria, over 60 to 70% of the Nigerian populations or more, is multidimensionally poor if we have no reason to be poor?
You already know those questions. I'm surprised that you are asking me a question that you know the answer. It's the profligacies of our leadership. If you have leaders who do not have compassion for the people, you have leaders who continually steal from the people, you have leaders who bastardize the economy, you have leaders who abuse the rule of law, you have leaders who violate human rights. This is what you have. This is what you have. I mean, you don't need to go to Europe or to go to America to look for solutions to Nigeria's problems. The problems is here and the solutions are here. We have the solutions. But it is my prayer that in the course of my lifetime I would witness a new Nigeria.
Without any action taken by the masses, could that be possible? Doesn't it go beyond mere wishes and prayers?
When you have a system where even the followers are bribed to demonstrate, when you have a public that are bribed to take to the street to protest, what exactly do you expect?
Even when they are also suffering.
I'm aware that most of those protests are staged and people are paid for it. So what kind of success do you expect?
Wow, that calls for more compounding the problem because you may not know where to start. When you don't know where to start, I think you need to start from somewhere. Thank you so much, esteemed comrade, for your submission this morning. Yes, I think you are hearing that from the Nigerian populace who are expressing themselves. You say when you have a government that violates rule of law, that has no regard for the fundamental rights of the people, and of course, okay, that is fundamental. Thank you having Mr. Matthew here. Mr. Matthew is a national analyst and fundamental defender of human rights. don't blame TINUBU for the Nigerians' misfortune words, because it spans across 60 years of independence. Most of the objective of setting out for independence seems to have been defeated at 63. So, what is your take on this?
For me, Nigeria have no cause celebrating because everything that we needed to do as a nation, everything that made democracy to work is eluding Nigeria. So for me, I think the only people that is that will be happy to celebrate should be the senators, the House of Assembly members, the House of Rep members, the governors, and all that, because we understand that even in the face of the hardship we are going through, federal government approved 70 billion for National Assembly members. So those are the real Nigerians that should celebrate. What are we celebrating? Before the government, before democracy came to, before we got independence, Nigerian economy was better than British economy, our colonial masters. We have a good security system.
Really? Better than British?
But now, our economy is going down by the day. Our currency used to be better than the pounds. So we have no point celebrating. It is not worth celebrating. The only people that can celebrate is the senators, the House of Rep members, the governors, their aides. But for the common man, I think what we have been getting from democracy, our leaders, is a disservice to mankind.
So why is Nigeria what it is today? In respect to rule of law, adherence to the rule of law, do you think that these are major reasons why the political elites or supposed leaders get away with their crimes without being called to book?
What we have in Nigeria, though it's global issue anyway, you always have the elites against the poor. But in the developed world, we have been able to reduce the power of the elites and subject everybody to the rule of law, in such that they make everybody to be equal before the law. But unfortunately in Nigeria, in Africa, that is not the situation. In Nigeria, you have a situation where the elites lords it over the poor. We just painted a scenario where you approve 70 billion for National Assembly members. These are the elites. And they were talking about how to cushion the effect of subsidy removal and gasoline on the poor. They said they needed to give 8,000 to the poor. And because of the public outcry against it, federal government said they were going to review it. As we speak, they have not been able to review it. Though information that came out from organized labor engagement with federal government yesterday indicated that they are going to give 25,000 each to each family, and they are targeting about 15 million households. You can imagine a situation where just one and something persons got about 70 billion. And if you have to share equally, you are looking at about 1 and something million per person. And you are now saying you are going to give 25,000 to a household just for a period of 3 months.
Imagine a household, why individuals scattered their way close to 150 million.
So what we have in Nigeria is the elites exploiting the vulnerable, the poor.
It's quite unfortunate. Now, one of the objectives of calling for independence of Nigeria by the heroes of the past, or supposed heroes of the past, because some say they are not heroes, because they have their own selfish interests and drives that led Nigeria to where Nigeria is today, is to attain self-determination and resource control for the common good of the Nigerian masses. But today, as it stands, over 133 million plus Nigerians are multidimensionally poor. It seems that that objective has been totally defeated.
To be quite honest with you, we have a situation in Nigeria where the few privileged are exploiting the country, the citizens, at the expense of the generality of Nigerians. Because let's look at even the subsidy removal. The essence of removing subsidy is to free more money for infrastructural development, to improve the healthcare, to improve the general well-being of Nigerians. But as we speak, since the subsidy removal, it is not on record that federal government have actually improved in any area of human endeavor in Nigeria. It's not on record that federal government have improved on the welfare of Nigerians. So you need to ask, the more money that accrues to federal coffer, which they share at the end of the month among the 3 tiers of government, what purpose is it serving? Apart from serving the interests of the rich, the elites, the governors, their aides, the commissioners, the senators, the presidential aide and others. Also for me, I think until we get a stage where Nigerians will take their destiny into their hands and fight for their rights, I don't think this will stop.
Now, when will that be that time? When Nigeria, you say until you get to the stage when Nigerians will stand for their rights and take their destiny in their hand. When and what will happen to lead to that point? Because majority of Nigerians are fed up with the system.
It is supposed to be even now. Because I have a situation here, we are not even asking questions. Federal government say they have removed subsidy on gasoline, that is PMS, and federal government is raking in money every month. At the end of the month, they gather in Abuja, they share among the three tiers of government. The same vicious cycle we used to see before now is what we currently see. They will pay salary workers and it ends there. It will interest you to know that even under this administration of Senator TINUBU, they have borrowed 1.7 billion for World Bank.
Imagine.
There's a proposal to borrow another 1.7 billion US dollar.
And they're sharing it.
And it's not a record that they are using for any meaningful development. So if you need to ask, is the government actually working for the people or they are there for their selfish interests? You cannot justify the borrowing.
The same TINUBU that said we cannot continue to borrow to service debt with 90% of our annual revenue. He's still borrowing.
I say it's on record. I read it in point that they have borrowed 1.something billion US dollar. There's a proposal for another 1.something billion dollar to be borrowed.
1.something
billion US dollar.
Billion.
I will share the news with you if I live here.
Within 3 months?
Yes, of course. And Muhammadu Buhari borrowed 800 billion US dollar from World Bank.
Nigeria is gone.
And this government have not been able to explain to Nigerians how that money was utilized. So one begins to ask, is this government actually there for the interest of the masses, or they are there to enrich their personal pocket? For me, I cannot understand why a government that is preaching that let the poor break, at the end of the day, that they want for suffocating the poor.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Matthew, for your submissions. This revelation is so annoying and very frustrating. You can't imagine 1.something billion in 3 months.
I will share this.
Then in a year it will reach $1 trillion.
I will share this out with you. I read it from Punch. I will share it with you.
Now, the final submission regarding the Chicago certificate saga. The judge has given, of course, has upheld the appeal of TINUBU's counsel to withhold those documents from Atiku. So, what are we expecting in few days and weeks to come?
What we are expecting today is that Chicago State University will release Mr. President Senator TINUBU academic record to legal team of the former president Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. We understand that even before now, a magistrate court headed by Gilbert ruled that the record should be released Atiku. But TINUBU legal team went to America asking the district court to delay the release and review it. Having reviewed it, they now feel that the court ruled that there is merit in Atiku's case. As such, the record should be released to Atiku's legal team. And you can only speculate one thing, because you want to begin to ask, why will a president who submitted information to INEC under oath begin to ask an institution where he allegedly schooled not to release his information, if not that he has a hidden agenda? And in Nigeria legal jurisprudence, you understand that if you lie on oath, it's perjury, and it's a good ground to remove someone from office. An article legal team have advanced an argument that there's a provision in Nigeria constitution that allows you to submit fresh evidence at the level of Supreme Court, even when the case emanates from Presidential Election Tribunal. So to that extent, I think Atiku legal team, once they get possession of that document, they will be presenting it to Nigerian court, particularly the Supreme Court. Let us see how the Supreme Court will manage it. I understand that TINUBU's legal team are already arguing on social media that the document may not be relevant in Nigerian court. But let us see if the record in Nigerian courts. Yes, let us see if the record that will be released will contradict the information he already submitted to INEC. If it contradicts it, Even if Mr. President shared himself away from the press in Nigeria, if you leave the shores of Nigeria to any other part of the world, they will ask him question.
So we are in for surprises and
So
more drama.
Our eyes now on the Supreme Court. Let's see how they manage the situation.
Thank you so much for your wonderful submissions. We have Mr. Okokondem. Good morning.
Yeah, I am Mr. Paran, the new Okokondem in this Second Republic of Biafra. Leave Mamazin Namdi Kano and his IPOB government of Biafra. Long live Republic of Biafra. Long live Republic of Biafra. Long live Old World Republic. Long live Amateku. Long live Old World Sondibohu. Long live Arewa Republic. Long live Arewa Republic. Nigeria, you can live if you wish to live. I don't pay for you to perish, but the ball is your hand. Shall we pray? In Jesus' name. Our Heavenly Father, God Almighty, I thank thee, I worship thee, I praise you for your favor in our life, for your goodness in our life, for your protection in our life. I thank thee because you never allow Satan to turn Nigeria into Ukraine. I say, Father, be praised, be magnified in Jesus' name. I thank thee on behalf of Mazin Namdi Kano, the leader of the movement of Biafra, IPOB. How you keep him alive, you don't allow him to die in DSS dungeon. Father, be praised, be magnified in Jesus' name. I thank thee on behalf of Simon Epa, the coordinator of IPOB autopilot. Oh, how you not allow them to kidnap him? Father, be praised, be magnified in Jesus' name. I thank thee on behalf of IPOB autopilot freedom warriors. I thank thee on behalf of IPOB autopilot Omada. Father, be praised, be magnified in Jesus' name. I thank thee, Jehovah. I say, be glorified, be magnified. I thank thee for all our fans all over the world who are watching us. I thank thee for the people that love freedom. I thank thee on behalf of Russia and Putin. I thank thee on behalf of Donald Trump and America. Father, be praised, be magnified in Jesus' name. Amen.
Okay, and what we are discussing here is about the Nigerian system. Don't blame TINUBU for the woes and misfortunes of Nigeria. Do you agree with such a submission? Do you agree with such
Come again.
Don't blame TINUBU for Nigerian misfortunes and woes because it started as long as old as Nigeria.
Why should you blame TINUBU? Why should you blame TINUBU? First, you have to blame the founding fathers. The founding fathers founded the nation in a wrong mood.
Okay,
why I say in a wrong mood, although they did according to their understanding and the level of politics they are playing that time. You understand? Now, mostly the mistake started from Zik. The worst of Nigeria is from Zik.
Okay.
The worst of Nigeria is from Agi Ironsi. These two people. And their mistake and their failure to put Nigeria right is the problem of Igbo man today. We are suffering under the construction of Nigeria. Sometimes we blame British. Yes, British are the fault. But sometimes they make a leap way for us to escape. Zik said no. Ironsi spoiled the whole thing. Now, Zik left the Igbo land, left to southeast, left to southeast. I mean, eastern region. Come to west here. And to contest Western election, I think 1953, and won Awolowo under Action Group. He won Awolowo. Awolowo was Action Group. Zik was NCNC.
Okay.
He won Awolowo. That time, the Yorubas love Zik. They call him Aziza. Instead of Zik, they call him Aziza. How they can pronounce it? When Zik won Awolowo overnight, that was the time this the camping started. That time they call it cross carpet. Awolowo do his campaign as a Yoruba man who understand the way to follow his people. He do his campaign overnight with a lantern. He went house to house, convinced the Yoruba people to dump Zik and his NCNC and join Action Group, which they did. The next day Zik come all the people that win election under him have cross carpet to action group. Zik was alone. Zik asked why. I will told Zik, you are not able to set your father's house in order. You are not able to rule your people. You come to another person's house to set the house in order and to rule him. Is it possible? Go and put your house in order. Which was the truth. Awolowo is right. Zik haven't put the Easterners in order. Zik haven't won the vote of Easterners. Zik haven't built anything in Easterners. He jumped to West to control other people. I will tell him it cannot happen here. This is a man who has sense. This is a man who knows my people is my people. He says Zik away. That thing he told to Zik is what happened up to today. People man were not able to put their house in order. That's why they lose their farm war. That's why they lose this present election. That's why already counted. 1963 election, I think Zik was third or second. 1979 election, 1979 election, NPP, Zik under NPP was third. 1983 election, Zik was third. 2007, Ojukwu was third under Apoga. And in 2023, according to Yakubu INEC democratic coup result, P2B was third. Look at it. Igbo man, third. When will they come first? This is why the problem starts. When Zik misbehave, before independent, we could have got independent before Ghana in 1957. Ghana get the independent 1957. Nigeria could have got independent before Ghana. But because of the North, the independence was delayed. British, who knew where the Southerners are going, called the Southerners. Now take your own self-independence and leave North alone. North are not ready for independence. I will say, okay, I agree. Zik said, no, I do not agree. He want one Nigeria independent. British told him, Zik, let the people go. The Southerners go, leave Northerners alone. Zik said, no. You want one Nigeria independent. I will plead to Zik. Zik said, no. You want one Nigerian independent. British, okay, you get one Nigerian independent. Zik went and meet Ahmadu Bello and call him Ahmadu. Ahmadu Bello answer him, Zik. He said, let us forget our differences and collect this independent first from Britain. Ahmadu Bello told him, no, Zik, let us settle our independence first. Let us settle our differences first before independent. If we collect independent before settling our differences, it will never all go well. Zik said no. Ahmadu Bello told him, you Southerners, you can rule yourself. We are not ready for independent until 50 years time when we are matured for independent. North is not matured for independent. Allow British to rule us. The people get matured. Zik said no. We must all have independence the same time. British man told Zik, Igbo people, go with your education and technology. Leave North with their culture and agric. Leave them alone with their culture and agric. You Igbos, go with your technology and education. Zik said no. The same white man called Zik, that the army you are training now, call them Nigeria. The army you are training now, call them Northern Nigeria. They are want to kill you. Zik said, when they kill me, don't come. Zik said so. Until Zik went and reached bad agreement with Ahmadu Bello. Secretly, when they went to meeting in Sokoto, overnight, Ahmadu Bello came out and changed that Nigeria should have independence together with North. Everybody should have independence together. The secret, the agreement Ahmadu Bello and Zik reached, nobody know up to today. Nobody know up to today. The oath that they swear that made Ahmadu Bello to agree for North to have independence in 1960, nobody know. The oath they swear. Zik have to force Igbo man and the whole Southerners under the colonization of Fulani Empire. Now, to make things worse, when the five majors carry out revolution. Ahmadu Bello, Ironsi was among to kill. Even Zobo sent the boys. They went to Kaduna. Kano military barrack. Want to kill Ojukwu in that revolution. Throw hand grenade onto Ojukwu where he was sleeping. But unfortunately, Ojukwu escaped. To tell you that is not Igbo coup. It's a revolution. The late Major General Hassan Katsina was among people who carried the coup out. Although he wasn't among the planner, but the fellow carried the coup out. John Atimbara was among the people who carried the coup out. The man who wrote five majors, a Yoruba man, Major Adomoyoga also, was among the coup plotters. He was jailed by Ironsi and was released by the 1973 after the war. He was jailed in Maiduguri. I don't know how they turned it to become Igbo man coup. Because Ironsi escaped the killing of that revolution, Ironsi hijacked the coup and made himself president, head of state. He did not merit a drunkard. A man who went to the bathroom, got finished, come out with the pants, walking on the road with the towel on his neck. Is he supposed to rule Nigeria? A drunkard. People shout. Ojukwu shout. Ironsi said no. Anthony Enahoro, in the floor of the Senate, Nwafor Orize was the Senate president. Anthony Enahoro raised the issue that he discovered that this enterprise of Nigeria cannot be held. Let everybody separate and go to his own. The Senate president, Nwafor Orize, said no, he wants one Nigeria. One Nigeria we should remain. And now we talk, they say no, one Nigeria should remain. We are one Nigeria now. People, see where one Nigeria landed us. And you want us to celebrate independence. You can see it. I want to tell you the brief history of Nigeria.
That is why I say don't blame TINUBU because the price is the problem. The depth of the rottenness spans 60 years and beyond.
Don't blame TINUBU. Blame Zik and Ironsi. They are the cause of Nigerian problem. Ironsi entered as a head of state, destroy regional government. Ironsi was the one who destroyed regional government. That big unity government we are suffering now. Ironsi was the one. I will not say because I'm an Igbo man, I will not speak the truth. Ironsi destroyed unity government. Ojukwu cry, Igbo people cry, Westerners cry, not to cry. Ironsi leave regional government. Ironsi said no. Then that's why northern people, that's the major thing. Northern people say you have killed us. Take over the power. Now you want to spoil our region. You want to remove our culture. You want to affect our economy because resources, because not what the people have the highest resources that can through agri. They have rice and skin, they have groundnuts, pyramids, they have cotton. These are three major resources. Cash crops. In the east, we have only timber and the palm oil. In the west, they have timber, they have cocoa, they have kola nuts. The Coca-Cola you are drinking today was the fallout of kola nut in the west. American man talk to America and ferment it. That's where Coca-Cola started. From the west, kola nuts. Then when Ahmadu Bello see that the economy of the north will be for general Nigeria, Ahmadu Bello said no. The northerners said no. That's why they shout Araba. Bamuso.
Araba, that was is it 1953, right?
1966.
66, okay.
When you take over, Araba, Bamuso. Let us divide. We don't want.
Exactly, that is
let us divide. We don't want.
That was from the northern hemisphere.
From north, they are the people that come for the division of Nigeria. They are the first people, not
1966.
Not Igbo man.
Okay.
The same drunkard, stupid man Ironsi, send Ojukwu, send Nwadebo, and other prominent Igbo people to go and beg not. No, for them not to go. They will not use gun.
You mean it?
They did not use gun. No, they did not use gun. They went and made her begging not to say no. At the end, not to bend to go. British called not at the back. Say, plot your own coup. Leave them. Plot your own coup. When you succeed, then you hold the power in the name of federal government and the practice unitary government to siphon their mineral resources. They have oil, they have this, they have that. You siphon it under federal government, but with a unitary system government under it. The Fulani Empire of Northern Nigeria listened to British and did so and succeeded. They killed Aguiyi-Ironsi. Not killing of Aguiyi-Ironsi lead to civil war, Biafran war, lead to Biafran declaration. What lead to Biafran declaration was the killing of the innocent people. After they killed Ironsi, the North killed 250 Islamist army. 250 Islamist army. After this was the number they counted, not the one that they did not counted. After they killed, they enter and kill Igbo Biafran citizens.
Aja is saying good morning. Mazi Chikos and Okoko on them. Stop and chop. Good morning. You said that cocoa has been a trademark long before Nigerian cocoa. Stop and chop. That is his submission. Okay. Owen Palace say in Nigeria in this your age, I can see that Nigeria will happen to you and your family. Well, Tony said without Jerry Rawlings in Nigeria, no solution. Without Jerry Lawrence, is referring to Ghana, the cleansing that's happened in Ghana. Well, let's continue with this.
Now, as I was saying, the what brought the Biafran war was failure of keeping Aburi Accord and the killing of Igbo masses in the north.
In the north.
When they kill Igbo masses in the north finish, they come down to the west. That time west have backed them up to be killing Igbos in the west.
Okay, the killing in the north preceded the Operation Wait Here between Akintola and Awolowo, the two founding fathers from the west.
Now,
fighting for supremacy.
The killing, the political rumble in the west between Awolowo and Samuel Akintola was the thing that led to 5 major revolutionary. The first military action in Nigeria was led through that faction.
Was as a result of the
rumbles in the west,
the crisis
in the west,
political crisis between Akintola and Awolowo.
Yes, because that time they were killing because of the movement of Akintola align himself with North NPC, Northern People Congress. They went to Benue, Action Group went to Benue, and the vote of no confidence under the leadership of Akintola, leading Western region as a premier. Because when Awolowo want to go to federal, Awolowo will submit the power to Akintola. When Awolowo fell in federal, he come back and want to take the power of Western premier again. Akintola said no, you are going to west, remain in west. That crisis lead Akintola to be tallying with the NPC. Then the action group went meeting in Benue and they have vote of no confidence on Akintola. And when Akintola to come back to west, he branched in Kaduna and he meet Tafawa Balewa.
These are founding fathers.
Yes,
fighting for selfish interests, not national interests.
It happened between Ojukwu, between the Sikh and the Eyuata, the something. Eyuata of the then Calabas. Once he could fail Western election, I will pursue him. He went to East. He have no political base again. Sikh have no political base again. He went to Eastern region, want to be political base. Eyuata told him no. You are going to federal, remain in federal. The Igbos later and told him, Eyuata, step down for Zik. Eyuata said no. Then, in Eastern House of Parliament, the Igbo speaking tongues, both the rivers are the majority. Under voting, they cast vote of no confidence under Eyota as action group did against Akintola. But the difference is this: Eyota did not carry gun to be killing his people, the Easterners. Eyota gently decamp and join NPC, Northern People Congress, and told his people, these people say we don't know how to rule, we are not educated, we cannot rule. Okay, let them rule themselves, let us go. The whole Akwa Ibom and the now cross river follow Eyota and join
Northern People's
Congress. This is Linda to Biafran war that made these people not to fight with all their heart with the Biafra. Starting of Biafra start falling from their side. Within 3 days of the war, Ogoja fall. Within 3 days of the war, Ogoja fall. Even though Enugu sector was up to 2 weeks before falling. But within the 3 days, Ogoja fall. Because they are not fighting with all their heart because of what this Zik did to Eyota. Now let me come back.
The heroes of our past shall never be in vain.
It's in vain.
They fought for their selfish interests, and that is vanity, and that is what brought Nigeria to where Nigeria is. Don't blame TINUBU for the misfortunes of Nigeria, because the rottenness spans more than 60 years.
Now, but look at Ahmadu Bello. Ahmadu Bello is supposed to be the prime minister. I mean, the prime minister of Nigeria. According to British rigging election did not start. Election rigging did not start today.
You can hear it. It didn't start today.
Rigging of a population counting, rigging of election was bedrock of Nigeria through the foundation British led. Since 1953 or so, they led this foundation. But Ahmadu Bello stepped down for premier of Northern region, which was Balewa. Ahmadu Bello stepped down for him to be the prime minister. This is why Tafa Balewa said, God is man, man is God to man. Man is God to man. This is why Tafa Balewa said so. Because Tafa Balewa know that his dream did not reach to be a prime minister. But Ahmadu Bello stepped down for him, said, my son, go. I will be at home advising you. And it's working fine. This is one of the things that made Fulani to hold upper hand in Nigeria today. And we continue to hold that upper hand unless Nigeria separates. You cannot push Fulani away from the politics of Nigeria today. Cannot push them away.
Because the foundation was made for them.
Unless for them to rule. They are born to rule according to Sokoto Emirates. They were born to rule. Now, after killing
of the Igbos in the north,
of the Easterners in the north
and west,
they come down to west, killing. One to east, one to kill. Ojukwu said no, enough is enough. This is where Ojukwu pick up and stand up. If it's not the late Colonel Benjamin Adekunle, they could have welcomed Igbos in the north. Benjamin Adekunle was a savior God used that time to save the Igbos. Benjamin Adekunle can speak Hausa, he can speak Igbo. Benjamin Adekunle was ADC to Francis Akanibiam. When Francis Akanibiam was premier of Eastern region, Benjamin Adekunle was at his back, following him to all the route of Biafran land. This is why Benjamin Adekunle was able to know the route to follow in the civil when he was commanding 3 marine commandos of Nigeria. Benjamin Adekunle was in 82 mechanized division Enugu, intercept the phone call where they were telling the late Major General Yaradua, Musa Yaradua, to forcefully take power in Nigerian army barrack Enugu and eliminate the whole Igbos. Benjamin Adekunle had the conversation and went and called the Igbo man that was the GOC of the barrack. Say, see what is going, see what is going. So you better surrender to me willingly, so that I will take over and stop this thing. Otherwise, your people will perish. The man did not prove the arrogancy and the stupid pride of Igbo man. I'm an Igbo man. I will show you I'm an Igbo man. Where are we today? See where we are today. The man willingly surrendered to Benjamin Adekunle. Benjamin Adekunle, what he did, he took the power, disarmed the whole Nigerian army in 82 mechanized division Enugu. Disarmed the whole Nigerian army, carried the whole gun, went to magazine house and locked everything up. When they come Yaradua said that no gun, no cutlass, even though no kitchen knife in army barrack to fight. And Hiroshi, when he was in power, before Hiroshi was king, Hiroshi saw Moritala going up and down, going to rivers, going to Nubu, campaigning to kill of Hiroshi. Hiroshi keep Adama, Hiroshi no agree. Ojukwu won Hiroshi, everybody won Hiroshi no agree, until Hiroshi enter grave. The two military boys, Ojukwu sent from Enugu, to come and release letter to Hiroshi locked them up in Abeokuta garrison. It was when they kill Hiroshi, they went and bring these two people, dig graves alive and bring them alive. Even Elizabeth Amadebo, I bring them alive. Major General Elizabeth Amadebo sent the message to Hiroshi that the North are planning coup against you. You know what Hiroshi did? He went and called both Gowon, both Iwa Danjuma, both Asankasina, Jemai Yoseni. He called all of them together. He put Moritala and say, boys, is it true that you people are plotting coup against me? In the presence of Mwadebo, they said, no, how can you plot coup against you? We are with you, we are not against you. He said, but this man, Mwadebo, told me that you people are plotting coup against me.
Wow, stupidity in the
You see foolishness. You see foolishness. Then, Mwadebo have nothing to do and say, oh, I'm very sorry. I did not tell Hiroshi anything. This lie, Hiroshi is telling lie. Please, my brothers, make you not money him. Don't mind him, he's a liar. This is how Mwadebo escaped. He was suffer for it. Now, when Hiroshi was killed, Mwadebo, they look Mwadebo here and there to kill Mwadebo. Mwadebo escaped through the motor boot, they put him there and escaped him from north. And Mwadebo returned. I will not tell you the history of how Mwadebo returned. If I tell you the history of Mwadebo returning, you know that I'm not in total about it. But let it be like that. This is our founding father. Igbo founding father are very stupid.
The heroes of our past shall never be in vain, but unfortunately,
It's totally
it was vanity even in their lifetime.
it becomes iniquity.
It becomes iniquity.
It becomes iniquity upon iniquity. Which Nigerians are suffering now. I didn't even think I agree with Awolowo. I didn't even think I agree with about the Bello. We can step on our regional. Nigeria could have been a safety place. Zik did not agree. Hiroshi came and they destroyed this thing. And when they took the power, start killing Ojukwu and Gowon, even Obasanjo, this man, the late Major General David Ejo, all of them went to
Aburi Accord.
Both Gowon, all of them went to Aburi Accord. Joseph Oyas, the then chief of naval staff, all of them went to Aburi Accord. This man, Chinachebe, all of them went to Aburi Accord under the supervision of Ankran, Major General Ankran, Chief of Army Staff of Ghana. They sit down and discuss everything. They agree that now we are going to operate on confederation, which is a changing of regional government name, confederation. All of them agree. By that time, Awolowo have been released. Ojukwu have released Awolowo. What the one release Awolowo? What the one give to Awolowo is set pardon. But the person who went to Calabar prison and opened the prison and released Awolowo was sick, and he gives it Ojukwu. But when was Ojukwu sorry not to sick? Zik run away. Where do you see Zik? Say I'm going to medical checkup. That a betrayer.
And the same medical checkup never started today. They refuse to build the state-of-the-art facility for the masses of this country. And they will be touring for medical trip abroad. So it doesn't start today. Don't blame TINUBU for the misfortunes. But you have to blame him within the time frame he is in office.
Zik betray Amadi Bello. Zik betray Ojukwu. Zik betray Awolowo. Zik betray Emayo Okpara. Zik betray Louis Ojukwu. Zik betray Louis Ojukwu. Zik betray Odimogo Ojukwu. Chukwuemeka Ojukwu. Zik betray Awolowo. Betray Amadi Bello. Betray Eyata. Zik is a betrayer. To the extent Zik betrayed himself before he died. He's a betrayer. You know the Zinc of Africa, Zinc of Africa. Even okay, look at it. From Zinc of Africa to Zinc of Nigeria. From Zinc of Nigeria, it's not no, it's not Zinc of Nigeria. Zinc of Africa to Owole of Onisha, not Owole of Igbo land. Look at it, how we fall from Iroko into grave.
How the mighty has fallen.
Owole of Onisha, the Ace of Allah. What do you mean by Ace of Allah? The chief of masquerade. See where he ended up. From Owole of Onisha to Ace of Allah, which means the chief of masquerade, the king of masquerade. This Yazik died and go to hellfire. Go to hellfire because nobody is
Fighting for independence, he ended from being a national leader to what Owole, the chief of masquerade.
the chief of masquerade. Ace of Allah, the chief of masquerade. That's why he ended up. That's where he ended up. Igbo people just run around and bury him to remove that shame from Igbo nation. Igbo people is supposed to be thrown in those grave. I'm telling you the truth.
Thank you so much, Mazi Okpara.
Now I'm coming. Nobody should blame TINUBU. Even if I thought TINUBU buy the election and Nigeria want TINUBU to buy election, now TINUBU is not the one that rig the election.
Because he take advantage of the flower system, of the corrupt system.
TINUBU did not rig the election. It was INEC that rigged the election to TINUBU. If they want to hold responsible, let them go and hold Yakubu responsible. The INEC chairman, he is the coup executor, he is the coup planner. He is supposed to be hanged, not be TINUBU.
Thank you so much once again for this tutorial. Honestly, I hope esteemed fans have learned so much. Yes, Okokom them, you entertaining and informing, of course, you are informative. Thank you, sir. Yes, you can as well encourage him for this educative moment, honestly, coming your way via Web TV. Honestly, I have so much wealth of knowledge from your in-depth analysis this morning. So I also believe that the esteemed fans have benefited from this. You can also encourage us through via the super chat and joining our YouTube membership channel membership by way of encouraging us so that we can get more, of course, gadgets for this good job for humanity. Thank you so much. Honestly, I owe you a tin of malt. What do you call it?
Whatever you call it in Nigeria, we take
A bottle of malt. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
I do appreciate your immense submissions.
Thank you, my
God
host.
continue to bless you.
Thank you, my host. Chigozie Ndigbo. God will bless you and bless all our fans all over the world. It shall be one with every one of us in Jesus' name. It shall be one with Nigerians. It shall be one with Biafra. It shall be one with Arewa. It shall be one with Oduduwa. It shall be one with Russia and Putin. It shall be one with America and Donald Trump. God will bless Donald Trump. God will uphold Donald Trump. Donald Trump will win 2024 election in Jesus' name. Russia will win Joe Biden and the NATO in Ukraine. Russia will win them in Jesus' name.
Thank you so much. God bless you. And finally, hello. Okay. Do you still have interest in talking? We are rounding up this program. Thank you so much, esteemed fans. On this note, we wrap it up today. Wishing you all the best of the week ahead. And of course, stay tuned as we bring your way the latest happenings surrounding the Chicago State University release of the certificate of the substantive president of the Nigeria state and what's the next action, of course, revolving these circumstances. Remain blessed and nothing will come your way in the next edition of this program. Bye for now and stay safe.